In the dimly lit corridors of Site Redacted, Dr. Jonathan Mitchell hurried through the sterile, claustrophobic halls. He was on his way to the containment chamber that held SCP-008, a specimen that had haunted his nightmares since he joined the Foundation. As a seasoned researcher, he had witnessed many of the unexplainable anomalies that were contained within the facility, but SCP-008 was in a category of its own. The rumors whispered among his colleagues made his spine tingle. They said that SCP-008 was a biological nightmare, a virus capable of reanimating the dead. He tried to dismiss the stories as mere tales meant to frighten new recruits, but as he turned a corner and approached the heavily fortified door to the containment chamber, a wave of dread washed over him. The chamber was a cold, sterile room, bathed in harsh fluorescent light. SCP-008 was housed within multiple layers of sealed containers, a labyrinth of safeguards designed to prevent any breach. Dr. Mitchell double-checked the containment status and ensured all protocols were in place before he entered the chamber. His breath hitched as he glanced through the thick, reinforced glass at the ominous specimen. It was contained within a small glass vial, suspended in a thick, transparent liquid. The SCP-008 virus had an eerie, sickly green hue, its alien nature evident even to the untrained eye. He could feel it pulsating, as if it had a sinister sentience of its own. Dr. Mitchell's fingers trembled as he adjusted the vial's placement, making sure it was secure. The room was completely silent, save for the low hum of the ventilation system. He shuddered, feeling a palpable sense of unease. He couldn't wait to exit the containment chamber and put distance between himself and the nightmarish specimen. As he stepped back toward the chamber's exit, Dr. Mitchell's eyes widened in alarm. The vial containing SCP-008 was now inexplicably empty, the glass pristine and unbroken. Panic seized him as he realized the implications of the vanished virus. How had it escaped its secure confinement? Frantically, he pressed the emergency alarm button and called for a containment team. Red lights began to flash, and the automated voice blared over the intercom, alerting the facility to a code red containment breach. Minutes felt like hours as the containment team arrived. Armed with biohazard suits and specialized equipment, they assessed the situation. Panic was evident on their faces as they discovered no signs of the virus within the chamber. The facility had never experienced a containment breach like this before. Chaos unfolded as the search for the missing virus intensified. Dr. Mitchell, heart pounding in his chest, felt his sense of dread deepening with each passing moment. As the hours passed, it became clear that SCP-008 had somehow infiltrated the facility's corridors. Reports began to flood in. Personnel were exhibiting signs of extreme sickness, their skin pale and clammy, their eyes vacant. It didn't take long for the infected individuals to succumb to their symptoms and expire. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, the true horror emerged. The reanimated corpses, now under the influence of SCP-008, began to rise. Their lifeless eyes glowed with malevolence as they sought out the living. The facility's hallways echoed with agonized screams and desperate pleas as the infected breached containment rooms and attacked the uninfected personnel. Dr. Mitchell was one of the few who managed to evade the reanimated horrors. He watched in horror as the facility descended into a nightmarish hellscape. Desperation drove him to seek refuge in the secure observation room that overlooked the containment chamber of SCP-008. There, in the safety of the observation room, he began to record his final moments, knowing that the inevitable was closing in. The reanimated corpses prowled the corridors, their vacant eyes searching for any remaining survivors. Dr. Mitchell's hands trembled as he documented the horrors outside. In the eerie silence, he could hear them approaching, their grotesque forms scratching at the observation room's steel door. With a final, terrified glance at the containment chamber, he knew his time was up. As the door gave way to the relentless onslaught, the reanimated creatures descended upon him. The last thing he recorded was the sound of their gurgled moans and the sensation of their teeth sinking into his flesh. His camera dropped to the ground, capturing only darkness and the chilling echoes of his own terrified screams. Within the containment chamber of SCP-008, the vial lay empty, as if it had never been disturbed. The virus had succeeded in escaping its prison, plunging the facility into a nightmare from which there was no escape.